All right, here's a scenario. I have 1,000 logs that I have to look through on a Kubernetes cluster, or you know what, wherever, virtual machine, app service, whatever it is, right? You got to look through all these logs to figure out what the issue is. And yeah, like maybe you can filter, based on warning and based on error, but what if you're looking at logs, more than 1,000 lines, or even let's say it's 1,000 lines, but it's over like a 3 month or a 4 month period or something like that. You still got to sit there and manually look through it. Well, in this scenario, I can use some type of like AIOps tool to go through and say, what is the issue? Where is it? And then I still got to go and fix it, but at least I didn't have to go through and look at all those logs. Now, on the flip side, maybe it's some type of low-hanging fruit issue that I don't have to go and manually fix, right? Like I can use one of these AIOps tools to go in and actually do it for me. That way, again, remove the low-hanging fruit. I can worry about things that actually make sense. And to be honest, like we've seen this for a while. Like one of the things that this whole AIOps thing reminds me of is, and this was a while back, if anybody's heard of Rundeck, I think PagerDuty bought them a while back. But the gist was it was like an SRE automation tool that you could set it up in a way that it would go and it would look for a particular error that occurred. And, if that error occurred, it would kick off some automation that you wrote, some program, some script, some whatever to go and automatically remediate that issue. Now we just don't have to do all that. We still get the same result, but, we don't have to write the code, write the automation. It's actually making the ability to do an SRE's job much faster because actually, no, not much faster, much more efficient. Because if anybody's read the SRE handbook, the whole goal is you shouldn't be spending more than 50% of your time putting out fires, right? And that fire could be, okay, this log occurred or this error occurred or whatever. Okay, I go and I fix it. Now I need to write the automation to go and do it. Writing the automation to fix the issue is great, but having to go through and comb through what's happening in the environment is putting out the fire. So now we can minimize that pretty rapidly with these tools. And how are we going to test this out? Well, I'm going to use Casia.i. You can give it a shot for free as well if you'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the connect cluster button, and it's going to pop up a token for me. So I'm not going to show that part, but I am just going to run the command in my cluster. And then once I do that, I click the I ran the cluster button, and it deploys like a namespace, some resource quota stuff, some RBAC stuff, because obviously it needs at least read permissions and write permissions if you want it to do any of the optimization for you. All right, and as we can see, I have my cluster right here, and I click on that, and it's read only because when Cast is first deployed, it only just collects information about the cluster. But as you can see, you can save 11% monthly savings. There's also some workload right sizing pieces here. So you could turn that on. You could see some cost here. And this is a new cluster, by the way. So like there's nothing really running here. I literally just deployed it for this. And if I go to the cluster overview via the dashboard, I can see the nodes that are deployed, the pods that are deployed, and then the CPU and memory that's utilized. All right, so let's say I did want to optimize this. Well, what I could do is click my cluster and then click start saving now. It's going to pop up something that I'm going to run. I'm not going to scroll all the way down because that's my token down there. But I can have advanced Kubernetes automation, optimize the cluster performance. So, performance optimization, resource optimization, all that fun stuff. Kubernetes and cloud security. So AIOps for threat detection, vulnerability scanning, all that fun stuff. And then, of course, the cost piece. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run this in my cluster. All right, I clicked the I ran the script button, so we'll go ahead and we'll wait for that to connect. All right, and that is now done. As you can see, it can take up to 15 minutes to complete the setup. I think I've waited about 5 or 10, so let's see what happens. If not, I'll just go ahead and pause. I'm gonna click done here. All right, and as we can see, Casia.i is doing its thing. Each enabled policy brings you closer to managing your cluster in the most efficient way. So what this essentially means is, like, I have workload right sizing on and spot instances on, which is awesome. I always highly recommend, especially in the cloud, to use spot instances. Like if you have 3 to 5 worker nodes, you might as well use at least a few spot instances. That way you're saving money, because if one worker node goes out, a new one's going to come back in, and you already have a couple of other ones anyway, so you're always usually good. But for example, if I turned on use cluster scheduler, that'll now get us closer to, oh, actually, progress to optimal setup. Hold on a sec. Let me try turning that off. Oh, okay. So I guess when run cluster only when needed, keep it paused the rest of the time. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that brings down the optimal effect, which you would actually assume it would bring it up, considering, the cluster is only running when necessary. I actually do like that feature. That's like a, 0 node, 0 pod, only when necessary. So that's pretty cool. Now, one of the things I think that makes the most sense, at least right now, under autoscaler, you can actually turn on scheduling based on your workloads. So assign pods to node using custom properties, link node configuration, select resource offerings, apply instance constraints, and then you can also even set CPU limits, which is awesome. And now you could turn on the default, you can turn off the default, and then you also have node deletion policies and CPU limit policy. So a lot of really cool stuff here. Overall, we can see cost, we can see CPU usage, we can see memory usage. And again, just enabling the little things like CPU limits, custom auto scaling, custom performance optimization. This is, in my opinion, what AIOps is, at least at a high level. Like, I don't want to have to worry about implementing that stuff myself. So if I have a tool that does it for me, I can just offload it and then worry about more valuable stuff that I can do throughout my day-to-day.